2 years ago we planted Pinot Noir here, and down below it is Chardonnay. So these are some new blocks in their third year. Both sides of this little road here.
So this is Ava Marie. This is Chardonnay.
Chardonnay, 23 years old, and you can see by the length of the new shoots we've had really fantastic even budding. So things are looking good.
And that cover crop, is that a bit of pea there and a bit of mustard?
Yes, so we've got lupins, there's a bit of triticale, or kuruch as we call it here, a little bit of tiller radish, and some wild mustard.
And what do you do in the row itself? How do you manage the floor there?
So what we'll do is flatten this with a crimp roller, and it'll suppress weed growth. And then we have a power harrow that will run through in summer to remove more weeds, and that's it. So it's pretty gentle. But Ava Marie's been a fantastic block for us. It's really produced great Chardonnay consistently year after year. There's granite clay, very heavy clay. So these vines now being 10 years old, their roots are into that clay now. So basically,
do they struggle a bit at first? Is it quite bony, this one's?
It's very difficult at first because it's so rocky and the moisture content is extremely low. So we use dripper lines, but now that they've hit the clay, we can turn the water off, and now they just carry on, doing their own thing. So another thing that we started doing quite a while ago is throwing all our cuttings.
So what's the current vineyard holding you've got now?
We're on 20 hectares.
Well,
yeah.
And how much of that is Cab?
5.
And Chardonnay?
6 hectares.
Chardonnay?
It's basically a third. And you feed the beast a whole pine tree, literally. And the pine tree just disappears into the belly of the beast, and out the other side just comes these piles and piles of mulching.
And that's what you mulched the whole
And
block with?
we mulched 2,600 cubic meters, which I think the only way I could explain it to would be maybe the size of 4 Olympic swimming pools, roughly. And we've put that over 6 hectares, and then it was all used up. So this is the start of that process. But it has kept the weeds off these under vine rows quite well. In the appellation, the upper Hemel-en-Aarde, which is supposed to all be on granite. So when we started looking to plant here, we assumed it would be granite, and all the lower slopes are granite. But once we got up to that ridge, we saw a drastic change in the soil, and then we explored it further with test holes, and then got a geologist in. I mean, it was dramatically different. We knew that it wasn't granite, but because the other 2 appellations are Bockerveld shale, we thought it must be Bockerveld shale. Then the geologist came, a guy called Dave Bell, and he was walking up here, and all he did was look in the mountains into that valley over there, and he stopped walking, and he sort of paused, thought a bit, and he said, this is unusual. And we were, okay. He said, this is Cederberg shale, and the closest Cederberg shale is about 300 kilometers away. So we were a bit skeptical, and then we went back and had a look at the geological maps, and sure enough, right there was this little purple horseshoe of Cederberg shale, which is significantly different. It's about a difference of 100 million years of age. So we've put the Cabernet into this Cederberg shale. It was the warmer soils, which will go. So it's just super interesting to see how it's going to differ from the granite to this. Still pressing the fermented stuff in the basket presses, so that's still that hasn't changed. The whites are being pressed in that old Vaseline. Well, I have 2 now, rebuilt. The stainless tanks, big ones, are just for blending the barrels together. So, and then I leave the wine now in tank for about 3 months before bottling. So that's something on the newer side that I do. This wouldn't have been here either when you were last year. This was where the tractors and all the implements used to be, but it was outdoors, so I've just enclosed it all. So this is now our barrel cellar. It's actually the red wine cellar. I keep the red and white separate. So this is Cabernet. So this side here, for example, is 2021 because it's in barrel for 2 years. And this side over here is 2022, it's this year's harvest.